Happy birthday, America! Yeah, it's happy birthday, America. Yeah, today's the 5th of July, and wait a minute, the 5th of July? Wait, why are we celebrating the 4th of July on the 5th of July? Well, that's because of the bankers and the politicians. You know, bankers and government workers. Got to give them a day off because they work awful hard, you know. That's me teasing my mom. My mom was a banker, and for years. She's retired now, of course. But yeah, bankers and politicians. We got bankers and government workers. We got to give them a day off. Yeah, it's 5th of July. It's the observed holiday. 5th of July, 4th of July, whatever. Okay. I was sitting there driving down the road this past week, and I'm sitting there scratching my head thinking, what am I going to make a video of? Am I going to make a video? 4th of July video. And I'm sitting there thinking and scratching my head, and I come up with a few little ideas, so I started doing some research. Now, I started doing research on something, and it's one of those things, when you start looking into something and you end up finding something else that you didn't know. So here's a couple things that I didn't know. There's a few things I did know, I heard, you know. It's one of those things you know, but you kind of forget, and then you're reminding, oh, yeah, I kind of knew that. Anyway, the one thing that I didn't know, okay, today's the 5th of July. Yesterday was the 4th of July. We celebrate our independence from England on the 4th of July. But that's not the day that they voted on it on the 2nd of July. Wait a minute. So shouldn't we celebrate the 2nd of July as our Independence Day? Well, okay. So what happened was on the 2nd of July, 1776, they go in and they vote on it. And it wouldn't have been the Congress. I don't know. The group of founding fathers that sit in there, it's escaping me, the meeting. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, for somebody that likes history, you'd think I'd know this. I should know this. But anyway, the meeting, the Congress of the founding fathers, when they got together and decided, hey, let's become independent from England. That was on the 2nd of July. All right. So they voted on it, and John Adams, was it John Adams? I looked it up here. Yes. John Adams goes home and he writes a letter to his wife, wherever she was. He writes a letter to her. Okay. And the letter says, the 2nd day of July, 1776 will be the most memorable epic in the history of America. I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought be commemorated as the day of deliverance by solemn acts of a devotion to Almighty God. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other, from this time forward forevermore. The 2nd of July. So, he was off a little bit. Well, why was he off? Okay, so I read into it a little bit more and kind of find out what happened was they voted on it on the 2nd of July, and the vote was to secede, or not secede, that was Civil War, to declare independence from England. Get out of here, fly. So why did they wait till the 4th to declare it? Well, after they voted on it, I'm sure it was some southern states, because the plantation states down south and everything. Somebody said, wait a minute, this says all men are created equal, and what about the slaves? We can't give them a freedom, you know. So they deliberated on the 3rd and come up, get out of here, fly. They deliberated on the 3rd and come to figure out, you know, how they were going to word this and give freedom to all free men, but not to give freedom to the slaves. And that gets into a whole political thing, and it's all in history. You go back and read all about it, you know. I don't want to get bogged down in all that right now. But anyway, so all free men are free, but slaves aren't. So anyway, so they deliberated on the 3rd and figured out how to word this and everything. So on the 4th of July, they go and declare it. Now, I don't know where they declared it, but today they declared it on Twitter. You know? But back then, they declared it probably to the newspapers and whatever back then, and declared independence from England. Okay, so the 2nd of July is when they voted. The 3rd, they kind of changed it a little bit, and then on the 4th, they declared. So that's why we celebrate on the 4th of July, not the 2nd of July. All right, and then we nowadays we celebrate on the 5th of July or the 3rd of July or whatever day it would be because of the holiday and the weekend, you know, for the bankers and the government workers. So I know, I'm just teasing. Okay, anyway, so while I'm reading up through all this and learning about the 2nd of July and all this, I was looking into other, the reason I was looking into it was because I remember, what year was it? John McCain ran for office against Obama. And one of the things that they were saying about John McCain was, well, he can't be president because he wasn't born in the United States. You have to be born in the United States. And I'm sitting there scratching my head thinking, wait a minute, okay, John McCain wasn't born in the United States. He was born in Panama, if I'm remembering this right. I didn't look this up. This is just off of memory, okay? Anyway, he was born in Panama, okay, but he was born to an American citizen's mother and father, okay? So he qualifies to be president, okay? And then there's also the big hubbub about Obama. Well, was Obama born in Hawaii or was he born in Kenya or, well, whatever. So that's all been hashed out a million times or whatever. But I'm sitting there thinking about this and I went, wait a minute, if they were worried about you have to be born in the United States, I keep saying America, but I should say United States. If you have to be born in the United States, what about George Washington? George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Adams, all these early presidents, they weren't born in the United States. They were born in America, okay, in the colonies. George Washington was born in Virginia, but he wasn't born in the United States. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, how, don't you have to be born here to be, so how did that work back then? Well, this isn't like law class and all this kind of stuff, you know, but from what I gather is you don't have to be born in the United States to be president. You have to be a citizen of the United States. And if you think about it, George Washington was a subject of the subject of England. Okay, George Washington was not a citizen of the United States. He was a subject of all of them. You know, the early presidents, they were all subjects of England. And I got to scratch my head trying to think about this. Well, you think about it and you figure it all out. He was born a subject of the United States, but then when they declared their independence and they won the war of independence, now they are citizens of the United States. So George Washington was a citizen of the United States along with all the other founding fathers and all the other people that were already here in America. They were all citizens of the United States. So I guess technically you don't have to be born here in America. You just have to be born a citizen, or you have to be a citizen of the United States. Now, I'm sure they changed the laws back whenever, because George Washington and Adams and Jefferson and all those, they weren't born in the United States, okay? They were citizens. Well, nowadays you have to be born a citizen, okay? So I got to looking into it a little bit more. Which one? Okay, so the first 7 presidents were actually born before the Revolution, so therefore they weren't born citizens. And I think they changed it years later. They changed it where you have to be born a citizen nowadays. But who was the first president was actually born a citizen of the United States? Well, it was Van Buren. He was the 8th president of the United States. So Van Buren was the 8th president. He was the first president born a citizen because he was born after the 1776. So anyway, just all these little things you learn. You scratch your head and you think about something, so you go to look it up and you learn all these other things that you weren't even looking up. Okay, that's one of the things I like about history and things. You go to research one thing and you find out other things. One of the other things I found was, and I knew this before. I'd heard this before. It's one of those things you hear about and it's kind of back in the back of your memory, but you don't think about it. And then when somebody says it, you go, "Oh yeah, I remember that now." Let's see, who was it? Where is it? Right here. A remarkable coincidence. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, the only 2 signatories of the Declaration of Independence who later became presidents of the United States, both died on the same day, the 4th of July, 1826. Okay, coincidence. That's kind of neat. Which was the 50th anniversary of the United States. So that would have been the centennial, something like that. Not sesquicentennial, but the whatever, I don't know, whatever they would call it, the 50th birthday of the United States. Let's see, what else was another signatory of the Declaration of Independence, James Monroe. He didn't become president, but he was a founding father. He died on the 4th of July a few years later in 1831. So 4th of July, you know, and presidents and founding fathers, you know. Another one, a president that was born, he was born on the 4th of July, was Calvin Coolidge. You know, just all these neat things you read, you learn about. So what else was I was going to touch on? Seems like I was going to touch on something else. I can't remember what it was now. But anyway, it's a 10-minute long video, so I just thought I'd throw that out there to you. 4th of July in America and all that. So y'all enjoy your barbecue, your hot dogs and hamburgers and the fireworks tonight or last night or whenever you go to watch them. So enjoy your day off from work today, you know, government workers and bankers. We got to tease my mom. She's a banker, was a banker, so we got to tease her a little bit. So anyway, with that, y'all take care, be good, and we'll see you down the road, okay? I've got another video coming out Thursday, and it'll be some more driving video kind of stuff out on the road working. So y'all take care, and happy birthday.